I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Wow. That's Tucker Carlson leaving the Republican Party today.
In the same interview, he's asked about J.D. Vance. Listen.
What's your take on J.D. Vance? Do you think he is still America first? Because I know you were friends.
I love J.D. Vance.
I'm leaving the Republican Party. I'm done with the Republicans. Why would anybody support the Republicans? Yeah, I like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is kind of cool. You know that number 2 guy in control of the Republican Party who helped launch this war? He's great. I would support him.
A surprising debate has broken out after Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian from TYT appeared to give Tucker Carlson credit for suggesting he has moved on from the Republican Party. Not everyone is buying that claim, though. Kyle Kulinski immediately argued that something did not add up, calling attention to what he believes is a major contradiction. We are going to go through clips from Tucker Carlson's own show, compare them with what Cenk and Ana had to say on TYT, and then look at Kyle Kulinski's response, because he sees the situation very differently. After watching all of it, I have a few thoughts of my own. So let's break everything down together and see what is really going on.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States?
Wow. That's Tucker Carlson leaving the Republican Party today. But he's not the only one. Another giant figure joined on right afterwards. Anna, tell us about it.
Then the conversation shifts to Joy Reid, but the reaction could not be more dismissive. The attitude is basically that her name is being used as a talking point, yet there is no real excitement or interest surrounding it. From that perspective, the suggestion is simple. Nobody really cares, despite the attention being drawn to her in that moment.
Well, there is another giant figure who has vocally announced that she will no longer be part of the Republican Party, but I'm going to keep teasing you with that and show you a little more of what Tucker had to say first, because it is informative in regard to what is convincing Americans across the political spectrum to abandon their previously preferred political parties. More from Tucker.
How could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? That's it's not possible to vote for people like that. And I'm not going to. And I think I voted Republican my entire life. I worked at Fox News, CNN, right. MSNBC. I've been a consistent defender for 35 years of the Republican Party. I mean, very consistent defender, but there's no defending this because it's immoral. And it's exactly the opposite of what a political party in a democracy is charged with doing, which is representing its own voters, its own citizens, its own nation. And they're not doing that. So no, I'm out. And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out.
I don't think he's wrong about that. In fact, soon after that was announced, Marjorie Taylor Greene posted the following: Tucker is not the only one who is done supporting the Republican Party. There is a lot of us that are absolutely fed up and will not support a party that betrays its voters and country. That does not mean we are turning into Democrats either, but we are done with the America Last Republican Party. So I can't tell you guys how much that resonates with me, but in the opposite direction, right? So under Biden, and after witnessing what the Democratic Party was willing to aid and abet in Gaza, I can't support that party. And honestly, the Biden administration is representative of the mainstream Democratic Party. So I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm now a registered independent. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, if you don't support the Democrats, that must mean that you're a secret Republican. No, I loathe the Republican Party as well, big time. And so the largest voting bloc at this point in this country, registered independents. People hate both parties. They are both corrupted. They are both bought, and they don't represent us.
So, God, this game is so rigged because you could tell based on what mainstream media does, right? So we told you 100 times if, they'll disagree on cultural war issues meant to divide us. Mm-hmm. But the minute their donor wants something, like don't do a student debt relief, don't do higher minimum wage, don't do a public option.
Don't enforce antitrust laws.
Yeah.
Stuff that hurts the American people, but helps the moneyed interest, the corporate world. And
to be fair, Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian are making some reasonable criticisms here. There are genuine issues within the Democratic Party, and pretending otherwise would not be honest. The bigger issue, however, is the way they introduced Tucker Carlson's claim that he has supposedly walked away from the Republican Party. Once you look more closely, that argument starts falling apart. As we are about to see, Tucker ends up contradicting himself during the very same interview they are highlighting. That is why I think this deserves a closer look. Yes, the Democratic Party has flaws, but that does not erase the fact that many critics believe today's Republican Party has moved
in the same interview. He's asked about J.D. Vance. Listen.
What's your take on J.D. Vance? Do you think he is still America first? Because I know you were friends.
I love J.D. Vance.
By the way, J.D. Vance reportedly behind the scenes said to Trump, if you're going to do the Iran thing, go big and go hard. That's what he said. Or go big and go fast. That's what he said. So he was advocating for, no, if you're going to do this, you really got to go aggressively. So Mr. Anti-War, turns out when push came to shove, was like, do a bigger war. Make it a big one. Do that. So I love J.D. Vance. Mr. I'm anti-war. I'm anti-Iran war. I'm anti-Israel. J.D. Vance is a creation of Peter Thiel and the AI tech demons who are coming to take away all of our freedom. Okay? They're spying on everybody. They're creating a blackmail file on everybody. They want all the money and all the power. They're actively trying to usher in end times. He literally cannot shut the fuck up about the Antichrist. He's anti-human in the sense that he wants to make us these weird cyborgs, these AI cyborgs. Oh, I love J.D. Vance. Fuck you.
America first? Because I know you were friends.
I love J.D. Vance.
You do.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You can see the host is like, wait, didn't you just say you left the Republican Party? Oh, but I love this. I love the number 2 in command of the Republican Party. That's who I love. I hate that party, but that number 2 guy, he's awesome.
JD so well, and Vice President Vance, and I've known him since long before he got into politics, and I know his family well, and and my wife knows. I mean, I think of him as a friend. I will always think of him as a friend. And
even though he's partaking in one of the worst crimes of all time, as I will admit to you, because it's an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, where they bombed hospitals and schools and bridges and power plants. Even though he's partaking in perhaps one of the worst crimes of all time, I'll always love this guy, man. He's my boy.
Ardent advocate.
At the heart of this entire story is one argument that keeps coming up. Tucker Carlson is positioning himself in a way that allows him to benefit no matter what happens next. It feels like he is carefully balancing between today's political climate and whatever comes after it, much like people say J.D. Vance is doing. Trump will not dominate politics forever. Whether his influence ends after the next election cycle or lasts longer through events no one can predict, the reality is that he will eventually leave the stage. Tucker appears to be planning for that future. His audience is not made up of Democrats or progressives. Instead, it is largely people on the right who may be frustrated with Trump over issues like foreign policy or other promises they feel were never fulfilled. Even if those viewers...
Being vice president, for him getting elected to the Senate, I've always been a big J.D. Vance fan because, and I remain. I think he's in an impossible situation.
The small bean argument. Oh, the small bean, J.D. Vance. Oh, were you dragged along to commit war crimes and atrocities? Oh, I'm sorry. What you do is you step up like a man and you go, I'm out. I'm resigning. I'm done with this shit. Now, if that wasn't clear enough, Tucker Carlson tells Alex Jones he'll support J.D. Vance for president just days after saying he's going to leave the Republican Party. Here we go.
Well, will you support J.D. Vance? I think he's great compared to Rubio.
Obviously, he's great compared to Rubio. Obviously. Look, I'll support the best person. I always have liked J.D. Vance enormously. He's really smart. He's in an impossible situation.
By the way, I've never been proven correct so quickly. When I told you that Tucker, all of his like anti-Israel, anti-Iran war bit, it all comes to naught because he's going to take all of that energy in the Republican base that he's taking with him and then redirect it right back into supporting J.D. Vance, who also, by the way, are you really going to fall for this trick again? This like, oh, sure, we're Republicans and we're right-wingers, but we're anti-war right-wingers. We're pro-worker right-wingers. We're anti-establishment and anti-corruption right-wingers. And then the second you give them a little bit of power, they immediately prove they were lying about all of it. And Josh Hawley, same shit. Oh, I'm a populist right-winger. Turns out I'm just like all the rest of them. Turns out I'm pro-corruption, pro-corporate, tax cuts for the rich, tax cuts for billionaires, endless war, pro-Israel. They lied every step of the way, and people are still doing the Charlie Brown with the football thing. Oh, maybe this Republican will be different. They're all insane. They're all George W. Bush. When will you learn? They are all George W. Bush. They're all fascists. They're all warmongers. They're all Epstein-class insiders. They're all pro-billionaire. They are jokes. They are pathetic. Every single mother one of them. The smoky-eyed sociopath himself. The pudgy boy himself. Okay? The demon queen eyeliner-wearing freak himself. That guy, yes, he's just like the rest of them. If anything, he's even more nefarious because he lies, because he's a bullshitter. He'll pretend, oh yeah, I'm with you guys, and then all of a sudden, we go right back into all the same bullshit policies, and here's Tucker Carlson taking all this supposedly anti-war, anti-Israel energy and putting it right back into the pro-war, pro-Israel candidates. You.
After hearing Kyle Kulinski's breakdown, it is easy to understand why so many people think he identified the issue immediately. From his perspective, Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian seem eager to reposition themselves closer to the political center, and that shift raises questions. Cenk did not always come across this way. Anyone who has followed TYT for years has probably noticed a change in tone. Anna appeared interested in moving in that direction earlier, and some viewers believe Cenk gradually followed along, whether by choice or simply because the show evolved over time. The bigger question is whether that strategy actually works in today's political environment. While there are well-known criticisms of the Democratic Party, including its relationship with large corporations, there are also younger voices pushing for a more populist and progressive direction, something supporters believe could reshape the party for the better. On the other hand, critics see very little to praise in the current Republican Party. They argue that a presidency led by J.D. Vance would simply continue many of the same problems. As Kyle points out, Vance has dramatically changed his public position on Donald Trump over the years, going from harsh criticism to becoming one of his strongest defenders. That dramatic reversal leads many people to question his consistency and whether his political positions are driven by conviction or convenience. The same skepticism extends to Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, with critics arguing that their messaging changes whenever it benefits them most. That is why some viewers are confused by the approach Cenk Uygur and Anna